The rather memorable music of El Tove there, and he calls that one Son of David. We'll be speaking to him later on the show as he ventures out of a journalistic career into a musical one. We'll find out what his plans are. That's our very own Kwesi Deborah from Love FM under his stage name, El Tove. All right, now, today on the Super Morning Show, do you know, I knew it would be just a matter of time before I made that mistake. And there we are. Today on the AM show, we're going to continue our tips for the start of a new year. As together, we plan our lives. Yesterday, we had a conversation on how to stay healthy throughout the year. And our word for the year was washed. Remember that? Okay. Well, today we're talking about cash, money, sika, kudi. And we're going to talk about how to stay financially safe this year and how to maximize your cash. Now, our guest is Sophia Teye. She's an investment banker. She's also an author of this rather fascinating book. I think we should all have it. It's called Start Right, A Guide to Financial Investment in Ghana. Sophia, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for making the time to be with us, and Happy New Year.
Many happy returns, and thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. Now, this book is fascinating. I've been flipping through it just before we came on, and you've broken it down into such logical sections, you know, and each section focuses on a very important aspect of financial freedom, and that is the theme throughout it, financial freedom. Talk to us about that, first of all. You know, for the year 2020, why should people be thinking about financial freedom?
Yeah, financial freedom is a very important thing, you know. You can be free, but if you don't have enough financial freedom, you are not free. For instance, if you feel like eating pizza and you can't afford it, you go for kenke. Yes, and also if you feel like maybe this morning you want to sleep, but when you check your bank account, you don't have enough, so you have to go out and hustle. So you can be free, but without financial freedom, you are still
not free, right?
So it's very important that we all work towards getting financial freedom.
Now, you focus on one of the most important tools, if not the most important tool, for achieving financial freedom, and that is investment. Especially in the first paragraph, you focus on investments and why they are important. I just want to read the chapter summary here. It's fascinating. So this is the chapter summary for chapter 1 of Sophia's book, A Guide to Financial Investments in Ghana. And it says, do you know that investments are like seeds? Seeds can be planted or eaten. And making that choice is the discretion of the owner. Investing can be likened to seed sowing, and once there is sowing, there will surely be a day of harvesting. Investment is an act of committing money or capital to an endeavor with the expectation of obtaining an additional income or profit. That's the summary of the chapter, and there's so much detail in here, but maybe I'll let you talk us through it yourself.
Okay. All right, so investment is very important. We all earn income, and you have to try and then budget. So when you budget, you have an allocation for your expenditure, and then you also have to have an allocation for investments. Because if you don't have allocation, for investments, anytime you need money for something, you always have to go for a loan. And you know that loans don't come at a free cost. It doesn't come free. It comes with a cost. You have to pay interest on loan. But with investments, when you invest, you rather earn interest on your money. Yeah, so it's very important that you put money aside to invest. We can use this analogy. When you take an orange, the juice inside is very sweet. We all want to enjoy it. But the seeds, we don't consume it. Why is it like that? Because the seeds can be planted for another orange and other oranges to come out of it. And that is what investment is all about. So you enjoy a bit of your income, but you need to set some aside for future use. So you postpone consumption now and put something down for the future. So that's all that investment is about.
It makes perfect sense. Of course, there are some misconceptions. People have a certain view of investment. Some people think that, oh, I mean, investment is what you do when you have some excess cash, you know, then you go and invest it. Or certain people, it's the, you know, elite people who invest money. You know, as for me, I'm struggling to pay my school fees and, you know, look after my mother, you know, in the village. I don't have money to spare for investment. Why are there such misconceptions? And in fact, first of all, why are these misconceptions?
Okay, it's just very normal that people will feel like, yeah, I'm not able to meet my regular expenditure, so it's only after the expenditure that I can have some money for investments. So people will just think that, yeah, I don't have, so why should I invest? But the truth of the matter is that you actually have, just because you haven't prioritized your expenditure. There are some things that we buy that we don't really need. So if you're able to budget and you know you're able to segregate your needs and your wants, you have some extra income that will be used for investments. For instance, if you want to have a normal lunch, somebody's lunch can go for 45 Ghana cedis or 30 Ghana cedis. Someone can also have a decent lunch with 10 Ghana cedis or less. So you just need to look at the various options, cut costs as much as possible, so you can have a little buffer for investments. Yes.
So actually, we all can afford to invest.
Everyone can invest. So investment is not only reserved for those with higher levels of income. It is actually those with the lower levels of income that need to really work hard, cut their expenditure, so they can have a little buffer for investment. With investment, it takes a lot of discipline to invest. So if you decide that, okay, I earn maybe 1,500 and I want to invest 200 cedis every month. So it is good that you have actually decided, but the discipline to maintain it, so it's the discipline to, first of all, you need to decide, and then you need to be disciplined to be consistent with your investment. You even realize that there's a slide on the power of planned investment. I'm sure when they show it, people will see. So if you have like you do 100 Ghana cedis every month, the whole year is how much? 1,200 plus interest accrued. And then the next year, it will be interest on interest. So that becomes like your new balance and all that. So it shows that if you are investing consistently at even a minimal rate of even 15%, you are likely to, within some 15 years, make a lot of money. Even 100 cedis for at 15% for 15 years, you are likely to have a balance of 66,000 with some coins on it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's fascinating.
That's why we have it as a power of planned investment.
Just 100 cedis
monthly.
Every month. If you're able to accrue 15%.
Yes.
On
averagely that. Over the years. You are
what sort of investment would give a person 15%?
Okay. So as for investment, there are different investment avenues that can help people make very good and decent returns on their investments. So in Ghana here, the permissible investments we have, I'll start with the collective investment schemes, because collective investment schemes, with as low as 20 cedis and 50 cedis, you can start something. You are going to join a pool of investors who are also putting their money together with the hope of earning more interest. So with collective investment schemes,
examples are
unit trust, mutual funds. So in unit trusts, there are lots of you are buying units at a price. So with that, you are not going to manage the fund yourself. You are outsourcing your fund management to an investment house that is licensed by Securities and Exchange Commission. So you have Republic Investments has unit trusts. They have different ones. So we have Republic Unit Trust, Republic Equity Trust, Future Plan Trust. I'm the fund manager. And then Republic Real Estate Investment Trust. There are other unit trusts that are also licensed by SEC. We have some run by Data Bank, Stanley, and all that too. So it's just a matter of going to them, signing up, and maybe doing a standing order that every month, especially if you don't have the discipline to invest regularly, and also you don't have the convenience, the time to be moving about, you can do a standing order, put a direct debit on your accounts, so they can do monthly deductions and then grow your funds for you.
Okay.
Yes, so apart from the collective investment schemes, we also have treasury bills. That one you can do it with all the banks and also the investment houses, because they have fixed income traders that will be able to buy those government of Ghana securities and other securities that are listed on the Ghana fixed income markets for you. So the treasury bills, the bonds, the notes. In Ghana, the bills, we have the 91-day treasury bill, 182 day. So 91 days is a 3-month bill, 182 days is a 6-month bill, and then the 1-year note now is called 364-day bill. That's how it has been named. So that one, you are that means you are buying, you are lending to government at the rates. Every week they do a tender, so the rates come out. So it is published, and you can always track your investment. To let you know your start dates, what interest rates you are investing at, and then the return at maturity. Okay. You can also look at corporate bonds. That one you have to go to the investment banking firms. So the corporate bonds that are available, you need to peruse their prospectus, know who the issuers are, what they are going to use the funds for, and whether the return they are promising, what they are going to use the funds for, can actually return that, and who are those behind it, their corporate governance and all those things. You need to check them as well. And then bank deposits. You can do a normal deposit with a bank, like 1 year.
Will that give you 15%? Okay,
so normally you need to look at the treasury bill rate as a benchmark. Averagely, I think the treasury bill rate 91. Let me get you the rates for the treasury bill. So 91 day is currently going for 14.70. 182 days going for 15.16, and then 364 is 17.90. Oh, so with that if government is issuing that, if you are doing something with a private organization like a bank or something, you should get a little premium above that. I see. So a fixed deposit with a bank can give you something like that. And also the collective investment schemes too, they also have their benchmark rate depending on whether it's a money market collective investment scheme, depending on whether it's a fixed income and all that. So you can actually get the 15%.
So this is important. What you're saying is it's actually more lucrative to do a fixed deposit with a bank than to buy treasury bills.
Yes, relatively. But you know, the thing is, there's a risk-return relationship when you talk of investment. So you have to look at the bank you want to invest with, how stable they are, the kind of risk they are taking, and all those things. And also, anytime you want to invest, you always have to get a second eye, peruse their financials, see if they are solid, and also get a second opinion from the regulator if you are not comfortable. Yeah. So you can do a fixed deposit. It will give you, but some of the banks actually give slightly lower rates than what GOGs are giving. Yes.
Now, will the regulator be open and honest with an investor who wants to know how secure a bank is?
Oh, I should think so. If you go to the supervision unit of any regulator and you say, okay, I have this amount of money, I want to invest, so what is your opinion about it? I'm sure the regulator will let you know whether the bank or financial institution is in good standing. Is in good standing, so they'll let you know. And then the collective investment schemes too, they also provide very, very good rates. If it's a money market one like the Republic Unit Trust and all that, that will certainly give you something above treasury bill, because it's comparative to its benchmark rate is a money market rate, like the 1-year note and all that.
Now, you've talked about how there are these misconceptions, and that investment is not gambling.
Yes.
Is one of those misconceptions. But it also does sound as if there is a risk.
Oh, yes.
Attached. So how do we reconcile the two?
Okay, so investment, if you want to do investments, you need to do a risk return analysis and all that. But you know, people who are doing correct investment will take a calculated risk. But mostly when it comes to gambling, the risk level is really, really, it's like more or less like you are speculating, and then you can really lose big time. But with investments, you are actually taking a calculated risk. If you want to sign up for an investment, we make you fill a KYC. So we want to know why you want to invest with us.
A KYC is what?
Know your
customer.
Yes, know your clients.
Okay.
Yeah. So in filling the KYC, we get to know why you want to invest. That's your investment objective. We also want to know your investment time horizon, like how long you want to invest, and also your risk profile. What amount of risk can you take? Normally the risk we say conservative, moderate, and aggressive. So if we interview you and get to know where you fall, then we can recommend something that falls within that range for you. So with that is proper investment. But when it comes to gambling, you don't do all those analysis. Yes, so investment is not gambling. That's why if you take your funds to an organization that is not licensed, then you are gambling with your money. So before you take money somewhere, you need to check whether they are actually licensed, and then whether the product you are investing in is too complex. Like you go to a company, you want to do an investment. I mean, we've seen some on the market that you call the corporate affairs division of the company, and they are saying different things about the products. The investors also have a different view and all that. But if you go to a licensed firm to do investments, the product you are actually trying to invest in is also, there's a prospectus, there's a scheme particular, and you know exactly what you are investing in and all that. So if you don't do all these things, and it's also one thing you need to look out for when checking how risky an investment is the deviation of are they giving you supernormal returns? So when you look at the returns on the market on similar investments, is that one giving you extremely higher returns above it? So the wider it is from a recognized benchmark, the higher the risk therein. So
I guess this is what a lot of people try to point out about recent schemes like Men's Gold and DKM and so forth. There was a certain suspicion that these returns that were being promised were far higher than normal.
Yes.
So you say that you should check whether it's higher than what the market
is giving for similar investments. For instance, if you are investing in a collective investment scheme like a unit trust, it's benchmarked to a government of Ghana security like the 1-year note. So you know that 1-year note or 364-day paper is around 17.90. So unit trust should be able to give you something the same or a little above it, like maybe 19 or 20. But if you have it returning 25, 27, and an interest rate regime where rates are very low, even a 7-year note, a 7-year bond is not offering that, then you should know that you are actually taking a very higher risk than you should be taking.
But you see, the average person doesn't know these things. Like the first thing you said, that if it's what type of investment? The one
collective investment.
Yes, then it's benchmarked to what?
Yeah. So the collective investment schemes are different. So if it's a money market product like unit trust or anything, those ones are is benchmarked against maybe 1 year 364-day government of Ghana.
My grandmother doesn't know that.
Yes.
So if people want to invest, how do they navigate all the complicated information that they should know in order to make safe decisions?
Yes. So before you sign up for any investments, you should ask a lot of questions on the products, and also most of these products also have a brochure that you can look through. So the first thing you should look out for is, maybe you can also check their historic performance and then compare. You know, a typical investor will not check all this, but now that so many things have happened on the market, it's very important that before you send money somewhere, you seek professional advice. So for instance, if you want to come and invest with Republic Investments, and then you come and we provide you with information. You can have a second eye maybe at another professional organization and say, okay, I've gone here and they said this is this and that, so how true is this? And there's lots of information on investments available. I mean, Bank of Ghana is always releasing monthly monetary policy committee reports that gives details on every aspect of the economy, as far as and then more details on investment, interest rates movement, inflation, and all that. If you go to the Securities and Exchange Commission, they also have quarterly bulletins on investments and things that are happening on the market. So you need to read a lot if you're an investor. You need to check and listen to news. Anything that is related to an organization that you are investing with, you should be interested in there, so that you are not really throwing money away. So always read a lot, ask a lot of questions, have a third person, a third independent person actually confirming whatever information you have received from your investment service provider before you take the bold step to go ahead with the investments.
I know you have a few slides. I don't know if we've had them all yet. I'd love for you to talk us through the ones that we haven't yet seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about how choosing an investment service provider. We are actually encouraging everyone to invest, but it's very important that you choose the right investment service provider. You need to deal with firms that are licensed. When you come to investment houses and investment banking firms, they are regulated Securities and Exchange Commission. So you need to go to their website and check if the company is licensed, or you see if they have their license pasted or framed at the reception, and also you confirming from SEC whether the organization is in good standing. You also need to check those behind the company. You know, companies can have all the smartest people and all the good products, but if those behind it and people with who actually do not follow good corporate governance rules, they are not accountable, they do deals that they are not supposed to do, pay their licenses and all that, is going to affect your investment. So whilst choosing an investment service provider, after checking their licenses, you need to check those behind it. Check whether they have good corporate governance, whether they have auditors. So it's all those things. They all have auditors, but then you need to check this. And also whether they have the professional competence, the staff, the human resource requirement to be able to manage the funds that they are managing, and also good customer service, and they should be able to provide you good customer service. You can also check if they have any record of infractions with their regulators. Sometimes if your investment service provider keeps getting a lot of fines from the regulator, it means that there's something wrong with them. You need to check it.
And this is all information that the regulator will give you.
Will give you if you ask for it. Yes, the regulator will give you if you ask for it. And also good customer service, whether they serve you well, you get information on your investment as and when you need it, how interactive they are and all that. Once there's interaction, there's transparency and all that, then at least you know that your investment is safe. Okay, so we want to also talk about enemies of financial freedom. When you are going in for avoidable consumer loans, that means that you don't want to be free financially. If you don't need, if maybe you are an organization and they've opened up a loan, maybe there are some loans for staff and all that. If you don't really have need for that money, you shouldn't go for it. So if you always go in for avoidable consumer loans because they are available, people want to take loans because they can access the loans. That means that you don't want to be financially free.
What's the danger of doing that?
So it means that you are taking loans that you don't need. You take the money, you waste it, and then later you'll be paying interest on that money. And then it prevents you from investing, and it also prevents you from achieving other life goals. The second thing we need to check on enemies to financial freedom is spending to keep a status. I mean, in life, you work with people, you fellowship with people, you have friends and all that. These people have different income levels and different status in society. You have to spend according to your budget, and you don't have to spend to keep a status. If maybe eating at a place is not appropriate per your pocket, you don't have to. So if you are always spending to keep a status, wearing something that you are borrowing to buy, using a car that under normal circumstances you can't maintain, that means that you are fighting against your own financial freedom. And then when you are spending more than you earn, that means that already you are in debt. And if you are in debt consistently, in fact, you go here, we saw you, we saw you to just recover our monies. And then when you are spending before investing, you know, when you earn your income if you don't set aside money for investment, you want to finish spending before investing, you will not be financially independent. And also investing in the wrong investment vehicle. So every investor has his own objective, and all the products also have certain objectives and also characteristics. So you need to check and be sure that what you are investing in actually matches your investment objective. For instance, investing in stocks or shares or equities are risky, but they are equally rewarding. So if you go invest in stocks at the time that the market is down, like for the stock exchange, for instance, for the past 2 years, it's been on a negative, it ended on a negative note. So if you are investing around this time, instead of your money growing, it's rather you are actually losing value. And maybe the time that you want to move out, then you are actually going to realize the loss. Instead of making returns on your investment, you have actually lost value. Apart from even you losing value on your investment, inflation has also eaten part of your money and all that. And then if you are not investing at all, then you have a very big problem. That means that you don't want to be financially free, you know. You need to invest to be able to pay for your children's education, take good care of your own health, for emergencies. You know, most of the time the huge emergencies we get with health issues are things that come with very huge costs. So if you don't invest, then you are giving yourself a lot of so you are investing for your own financial freedom. You also need to it also provides you with income to meet your recurrent expenditure, and then you accumulate wealth by investing. Mostly if you want to buy a car, you need a lot of money to buy a car, so you have to start investing towards it. If not, go for a loan. And then you secure a financial future by investing consistently. For a comfortable personal and family life, you need to invest. And also to provide for retirement. Mostly, we advise people to invest because in Ghana here, averagely, people finish school around the age of 25 years, 22 years. And then after service, it takes you sometimes 2 or 3 years before you get a very stable job. The next thing you are thinking of is, I want to marry. You marry, you are now going to think about getting a house for yourself and then taking care of your children and all that. So all this, you enter into like 30 or 35. That means that you are less than 25 years to retirement. So if you don't start investing towards retirement, you retire and then you realize that people retire and they don't want to go home. They want extra, they want to extend their retirement, do contracts, and then your body is also breaking down. In Ghana here, when you retire, automatically you become an obusiapeni. You are after 60, so all the funerals in your hometown, you have to go. And then that one also comes at a cost. You are not earning extra money. And then when you grow to, you realize that your organs become a bit weaker. So you have to spend so much on medical bills. Whilst you are working, your employer was paying for it. And at retirement, you have to pay for it yourself. So if you don't plan towards your retirement, my brother, my sister, it's going to be disastrous. And it even makes people die before their time. And the worries and the privileges that you were enjoying at work, you don't enjoy them at retirement. If you are living in a government bungalow, you have to move out. And then the official car sometimes is taken from you, and so many things. And the bonuses and the extra things that you used to get at work, you won't have it. So you need to try investing so that at the end of the day, you have a comfortable retirement. You can have a meaningful life. You can be responsible to society. It's not always about ourselves. We need to earn money to have a better life, but also think about people who also need our support in society there. Underprivileged people. But if you don't invest, sometimes you want to help someone, but you don't have the financial muscle to help, so you look a bit like you don't care.
All right, now we've been talking about how the practical things people need to do, but there's also the psychology behind investments or not investing. People think a certain way. You know, first of all, in order to invest, you have to sort of, in your mind, segregate every amount of money. You know, when you put money into an investment, you have to your mind, tell yourself that that is no longer money that's available for you to spend. But that's difficult because you are investing for a reason, right? I had a conversation with my 9-year-old son. I was trying to explain why it's important to save. And at the end of everything I said, his question to me was, so when can I spend it?
Okay.
You know, because to his mind, he's saving for a reason.
Okay.
He's saving for something. You're investing for something.
Yeah.
So at what point should a person in their mind tell themselves that this money that I'm investing, at what point do I start spending it?
Okay. So that's why budgeting is very important. When you actually budget, you list all your, you know, all your income, apart from salaries, allowances, and all those things. Maybe you have a side hustle that is also giving you something. You list all your income. Then you list all the things you want to spend on, and then you stick to them. So when you budget, you know that at this point, budgeting helps you to know whether you have excess money so that you can invest some. So sometimes even after doing your allocating something for investment, sometimes when you finish, you still realize that you have some excess. Then you still have to push it to invest. So it helps you to know whether you have some excess for investment. Some people can use the excess to buy anything that will give them pleasure. So you can also look at that. And also when you budget, it helps you to know, okay, so these are my expenditure lines, but this is my income level. You can't match it. So should I go for a loan and all that? So anytime, it depends on the objective for which you are investing. So when you invest and you hit your goal, you can pick the money and use it for what you want to use and still continue with the investment, so that always there's money and investments for you. Yes. There's always
so
money.
you know, you gave us that table of, so if somebody were to invest just 100 cedis every month for a period of 15 years, they would be you know,
around 60 something.
Yeah, 60 something thousand.
Yeah.
If someone were to invest 250, you have a table in your book that says if someone invests 250 cedis only every month, in 15 years they would be a millionaire. Really. Yes. Just 250 cedis in something that will gain them about 15% interest or more.
Yes.
They would be millionaires.
Yes.
So the question is this: so is that how you should set your goal? Should you say to yourself, okay, I want to be a millionaire in 15 years?
Yes.
And then when you become a millionaire and you have 1 point something million cedis, and you're like, okay, now I'm a millionaire. I'm going to start buying whatever it is I want and spend it. Or should you always, no matter what, at all times, be investing, so that the concept is there is always money? Yes.
Okay. So yeah, as for investing, you can't really stop investing. So when you invest and you are able to hit your target, maybe that's why there's something called investment objective. Why are you investing? You are investing because you want to buy a house. So if you've actually worked and then you've accumulated the funds you need for the purchase of that, whatever, whether a car, a house, or maybe further your education, pay for your children's education, for a major surgery or something. Once you achieve that, you can pick the funds and use it for what you actually intended to use it for, and still continue investing, because there are a lot of contingencies on our ways that we are not aware of. You don't want to have some serious medical issue, then you now have to go and be calling your church members for help, calling your people for help, friends, and then make people feel bad if they can't support you, because everyone is in one way or the other hustling to meet their personal needs, and people who are very close and close to them that depend on them. So at every point in time, there should be something in the pot. I mean, yes, there should be something in the pot.
So today, somebody is listening to us and thinking, I mean, look, December just ended.
Yeah.
I got my end of year salary before Christmas, and it's finished.
Yes.
A whole new month is about to begin. This is the brokest time of the year for most people.
Yes.
And we are talking to them about investment.
Yes.
They don't even have anything left in their accounts after Christmas.
Yes.
But so how does a person get into the mentality of investing when they don't even have anything, you know, to speak of today?
Okay, so this is why they have to start investing now. So if you have gotten to that point where you have nothing at all to rely on, it should show you that, I mean, there's, I don't know, but you realize that every year things get tougher.
Yeah.
I don't know, the Bible says at the end times things will become difficult. I don't know, but you realize that every year things become a bit difficult. So if you don't really prepare for yourself, so like January and already the December salary is finished. So this is why you have to advise yourself that moving forward, January 2021, I don't want to be broke like I am. By budgeting, being disciplined and sticking to your budget and making sure that you don't spend on things that you don't need.
But the reality though is that this new salary that's coming in January,
yes,
there's more pressure on it than any other salary in the year.
That's very true.
So you have all these bills, that some annual bills
Yes.
that have to be paid in
Yes.
January.
Yes.
School fees coming up.
Yes.
You know, rent to be renewed.
Yes.
And all of these things
Yes.
are coming
I
in.
like the things you're mentioning, school fees, rent, and all the other bills. Those things are, you know that they are recurrent expenditures. That is why they have to be in your budget. So it's not like it came as a surprise. Someone posted something on Facebook that don't overspend at Christmas because you had 1 year notice. You know that 25th will come. You will spend, you visit family, you have to be generous and all that you'll be spending. So you had a whole year notice. Your rent, you had a whole year notice or 2 year notice. The school fees that you have to pay on a quarterly basis for your children and all that, you have a notice. That is why you always have to allocate some funds to it through investment. You don't touch it. So when it gets there, you pick it. And you don't have to now struggle to get money to pay a school fees that you're already aware of, that 3 months time you'll be paying, rent that you know that 2 months time you have to renew, and all that. So,
fascinating.
yes.
Now, I know I'm not the only one with questions, so why don't you call us 0302-211-691 or 692. Sophia Teye is talking us through some of the tips that we need to be financially free. Call them financial self-defense lessons, so that this time next year you will have a very different story to tell. You can also be holding sessions like this for others to tell them how you made it through 2020. So call us 0302-211-691 or 692 with your questions so that Sophia can handle them and make us all a bit more financially free for 2020. Now, I mean, you are an investment banker. Part of your job is to be able to kind of look around the corner, you know, see the future a little bit and see what will be profitable, what should be avoided by investors. But talk us through some of those. Okay. For this year, what are the things that will make money for investors and what might not? Oh, but before that, I think we have a caller on the line. Okay. Let's take a few questions and then you can answer them all together. Okay. So Alale is in Kumasi. Alale, good morning. Have we lost Alale? We may have. Let's go to Navrongo. Felix is in Navrongo. Felix, Happy New Year.
Yeah, the same to you. Thank you.
What's your question?
Yes, I think I'm really enjoying your program. And what I would like to also suggest is that at least instead of this financial talk coming on today in January, it would be good that at least once in a while it comes on. Maybe every month it comes on. I think that way will somehow help us. Because just like some of the questions that you were asking that, oh, December salary is gone, what do we do now? But as human as we are, sometimes, even this is the best time, I always tell myself, this is the best time you have to actually invest. Yeah. Because I have school fees to pay, other rents to pay. So now when I start investment, it can be 1 year. So if I start now, by January, I will get my money. And when the money comes, I'll be able to take care of the school fees and other things. So sometimes when we think this way, it's the best. And sometimes we really think that the money we have is so little. Just the calculation she did. Just 100 Ghana cedis within a month, a year, you are getting 1,000 too. Within 10 years, it's a huge amount of money. So sometimes when this talk comes almost every month and we listen, at least it will change. If it will not change all, it will change the few that will be listening. Yeah. So that's just my suggestion to join you. If that can be done.
Thank you, Felix.
At least every month or every now and then. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a wonderful suggestion. We appreciate it very much. Felix from Navrongo. Let's go to Zebila, where Hassan is on the line. Hassan, Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to return.
So what's your question?
I want to start, but I'm actually enjoying your program. But with all these investment schemes, some of us are a bit far away from probably Securities and Exchange Commission or their offices. How are we going to be able to access some of these investment opportunities? Because what you are actually saying is a lot of us. But how to get access or how to get easy access to such investment plans is our problem.
Okay, so how to access the regulators to get information to help you decide on investments. Because some of you live quite far away from where these institutions are located. That's an important question. We'll get you an answer. Adams is in Tamale. Good morning, Adams.
Hello, good morning.
Happy New Year.
The same to you.
Excellent. So what's your question?
Okay. I'm a public sector worker, but at times we do find it difficult for us to invest in or the savings. So I want to talk to her so that...
Adams, can you speak a bit louder? You said you're a public sector worker.
Yes, I'm saying I'm a public sector worker.
Right.
But at times we do find it difficult for us to make a savings.
Okay.
So and I want her to give us
some advice.
Guidelines.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Adams. Let's go to Obuasi. Hello, Samuel. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. My name is Samuel, and I would like to find out if investing, you can borrow to invest, and again, you can also invest in forex trading. Is it a good investment?
Okay, so you want to know if it's good to, if you can borrow to invest. Also, is it good to invest in forex trading?
Trading, yeah.
Okay, good questions. Thank you, Samuel. Is it Emma or Ima in Atebubu? Ima?
Yeah, Ima.
Happy New Year, Ima. So, what's your question?
Yeah, thanks. What I'm trying to say is, now that you are trying to convince us to invest, somewhere 2015, 2016, I did a lot of inquiries about this type of bank investment and all that. And I put my money there thinking after some 3-4 years, I can go back to school to start my medicine or PharmD. And after all those inquiries that I did, now SEC has closed down my financial investment, and I'm not getting my money back. So how can you convince me to go back and invest in these banks again, knowing what has happened to me, and now my education has been brought to a halt?
Ima, which institution did you invest in?
That's Gold Coast. I was told they've practiced for more than 20 years. They are there, the place is safe and all that.
And who gave you that advice? Who gave you that information?
Well, I was having a friend who is a manager at at that time, a GN Bank.
Okay.
Yeah, GN Bank. He was a bank manager, and he went through, like, he convinced me as in they are good. They are not going anywhere. They've been there for long, and all that. They have been regulated, and their Gold Coast is being regulated by SEC and all that. He gave me all those analysis, and that made me go there to invest. And at the end of the day, my money has been locked there, and I'm not getting any money to further my education.
Did you speak to SEC or the regulator yourself, or you went with the word of your friend?
I didn't know about SEC and all that. He was even the one that told me, that SEC regulates them and all that.
But he, of course, works for the company that took your money.
Okay.
But the person who gave you this advice, he works for the company that took your money.
Manager, he was a bank manager.
All right. Well, we'll get you an answer from Sophia to your question. Maybe we'll take one more call and then we'll line up the answers. Abdul Basit is in Tamale. Abdul Basit, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Can you hear us? Why don't you go ahead? What's your question?
First of all, I would like to say Happy New Year to you and the lady out there.
Thank you. Same to you.
The next question is it possible for you to have an insurance company as your investment plan?
Interesting question. Can you use insurance as an investment
insurance company? Like, for example, Providence Life Insurance. You have
Bassett. Thank you for that. I think perhaps we should settle for some answers now. Sophia. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back up. Let's see if we can get a reminder of the questions. Hassan in Zabila had I thought you were making a note of them there. Hassan in Zabila was asking a question about
how to have access to SEC.
That's right.
Okay.
How to access the institutions to get advice when they live so far away from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hassan, SEC is in Accra, all right, but SEC has a website. They have an email that you can always send an email to make inquiries. They also have contact details like telephone numbers that you can call to make inquiries on any investment service provider you intend to deal with. Any investment service provider you intend to deal with. So you need to call them or send them an email or find a way of getting to them, especially if the amount you are talking about is very huge. And in fact, huge is relative. So you can access them through emails, phone calls, and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a website. There it is, right there on your screen. Securities and Exchange Commission.
Let me add a few things in.
And there's a tab for contacting them, for filing complaints. They are all there. All right.
Let me add a few things. Before the investment sector cleanup, if you go to SEC website, you see licensees. So when you click on licensees, you see all the investment banking firms listed. Some were in a red category, some were in a gold category. So those in the red category, SEC talked about maybe they have some regulatory infractions, so they are not complying with this. Then they state the reason. So you get to know exactly what was happening to your firm, and then you decide whether to go ahead with investing with them. So it's very interactive. Just click on licenses and you look out for the company, and you get to know whether they are being compliant or they are not being compliant. The other issue is that I had a friend who invested with one of the, I don't want to mention name, the collapsed investment banking firms when the company was actually in crisis, meaning that people don't really track their investments. Wherever you are investing, you need to know about the company. You need to follow news item around the company so that you can be able to ascertain for yourself whether you are in a safe boat or your boat is about collapsing. So contact SEC anytime, any day, and we'll get back to you.
Okay, now there was also a question about how to invest when you are on a government salary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So how to invest while you are on a government salary? You can do a standing order or direct debit, allow controller and accountant general to do the deduction before paying you to the investment house that you intend to invest with, and that will be very easy. I think there was also a question on the person being in Tamale and where they can invest. Almost all the investment banking firms have agencies in the various regions. For Republic Investment, for instance, our parents' bank, Republic Bank, is in Tamale, Bolga, and all the other places. So you can walk there and say you want to invest in any of our products, unit trust or anything, and then they will assist you. Yes. Or you can go to our website, any of the licensed investment banking firms, their website, and send an email to them that you want to invest. So how do you invest? And I'm sure they will get back to you.
Now, there was also a question about somebody who invested in Gold Coast, and he's wondering why we are convincing people to invest in him, because he invested in a company he thought was secure, and it turns out that it wasn't. First of all, I think it's important to state that the president has announced that all who invested in those companies that have had their licenses revoked, they will get their money back. I think that it's important to make that announcement. The president has made that declaration, and I'm sure details of how it will happen will soon follow.
Okay. But my brother who spoke about investing and getting the fingers bent, is very sad, and there are things that really surprised. Some came as a surprise and some were anticipated. But the good news is that if you invest with an institution that is regulated, there's always a remedy. Like the December 18th, the receivership ended. You realize that they announced from November that all those who have evidence of investment with companies whose licenses have been revoked should visit various locations and tender in your receipts and all those things on investment, and then they'll get back to you. So once you have invested with a licensed firm, half of your problem is solved. Yes, something went wrong, but government is trying to pay people who have their investments locked up. So you will certainly be paid. But the other thing is that when you are investing, apart from the word of mouth from the company you are investing, there's always a reason to check with an independent third person. The regulator is always the best resort. Like I was saying, people started complaining about their inability to get funds from some of these companies. If you were monitoring the news and all that or talking to people, I'm sure you would have picked the signal. So whilst you are investing, wherever your money is, you need to keep an eye there, follow news around it. Anytime you can also, one other thing I noticed that really worried a lot of people, just keep investing. They don't have evidence of investment, they don't track their investments, and they don't also test the liquidity of where they are investing. If you are investing somewhere, at least one time you can just go, I want to save all my money, and see if they can pay you. If they pay you next week, you can bring it back. That is also a way of testing to see whether they are liquid or they are not liquid. You don't just keep doing standing order to a place and not following up on your investment to know whether actually, people don't even do reconciliations on their investment to know whether the direct debits or the standing orders are actually being credited to them. So as an investor, you need to be very proactive. Follow up on your investments, get the third confirmation from an independent source, and I'm sure that you'll be fine. But it's sad, but you'll be fine.
It's still better to invest.
It's always better to invest. There are lots of companies that are very compliant and have stood the test of time. The regulator can confirm that they are in good standing. You can always contact any of the licensed investment firms in good standing, or better still, come to Republic Investments and we'll serve you. You know, we are the one for you.
Okay, we'll send you a bill for that. No, not at all. But finally, there was a question about whether it's good to borrow
and
to invest.
Yes, that's a very smart and a very good question. Yes, if you can look at the rates on the loan you are taking, the amount you are borrowing. Assuming you are borrowing at a rate of, if you have a staff rate at maybe 6% or 8%, and you can do Treasury bill at around 14 and 15%, you can do it. You just need to do the calculations right and be sure that actually what you are borrowing, you are actually going to invest it and not going to take it into any other thing. So you can do that. Just compare the rates on the loan and the rate on the investment, and then the spread becomes your interest.
Your profit.
Yes. And there was also a question on whether someone can do investments through insurance. Yes.
Actually, before that, there was a question B to this one.
Okay.
Whether it is smart to invest in forex trading.
Yes. For forex trading, actually, there's a lot. You really have to be up to task. You should. It needs a lot of specialized skills to do forex trading. You need to do a lot of trend analysis in the movement of exchange rates and other factors. So it's a very specialized area. You can make a lot of money from it, and you can make a lot of losses. So you should just go in with a well-informed information on why you should do it, and whether you even have the professional competence to do what you are going to do when it comes to forex.
So it's high risk.
It's high risk. It's high risk, meaning that the returns can be very good, but you have to do it with caution, especially when you are not experienced in the
And finally, insurance. Is it can it be an investment vehicle?
Okay, I think insurance has its own objectives. Sometimes you insure for fire, you insure for life assurance and all those things. Yeah, they also have some assured, something benefits and all that. Yeah, some look like investments, but then most of these insurance products and all have some clauses in there. When you invest for a while and you want to stop, your money will still be growing. But some of these insurance products, if maybe you have to sign up for 10 years or 5 years, and you do up to the third year, you don't want to do it again, depending on the clauses and the disclaimers in there, you end up losing everything. So you can have an insurance, for a life assurance or something, and also it's always very good to have an investment, because if you stop adding more money to it, your funds will be growing whilst you relax. So you have your money always working for you when you choose to invest.
So it's sort of like how you said we should invest with a purpose. So maybe you want a car, so you build that into your investment. When it's time, when you have enough to buy the car, you buy it, but you don't stop investing.
Yes, you don't stop.
So I guess insurance could play that purpose. If, say, you buy life insurance or insurance to pay for your funeral, it's like you are saving for the funeral. So it's for a purpose, but it can't be your entire investment portfolio, if you like.
Solid.
Right. That's very useful information. Thank you very much, and thanks for everything else, Sophia Teye, who is an investment banker. She's also an author, the author of this wonderful book that I would heavily recommend for all of us. It's called Start Right, A Guide to Financial Investments in Ghana. And this could end up being the key to your financial freedom in 2020. Thanks once again.
You're welcome.
All right. Now, call it Christmas in Bojo, and you'd be right. Bojo Christmas is underway, and it's a big deal indeed. This year, you can start your New Year festivities at Bojo and end at Bojo. Okay, they're creating the ambience for you and your family to relax, enjoy, and have lots of fun. So, from today, they're having a family day on the beach. Tomorrow, Friday, there will be beach preparation day. On Saturday, there's a massive beach party, and on Sunday is the big goodbye beach party. So make sure you're there at Bojo Beach Resort, where you're assured of a clean beach, secure and spacious parking as well.